Welcome everyone to Yoga Basics. Today, the props that we're going to be using are a yoga strap, and you'll want to go ahead and make a loop in your strap so that when you put that loop around your forearms and extend your arms, it's just about shoulder width shoulder width apart. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, and then we'll use that when we come up to stand. So go ahead and make your loop. If you do have two blocks, then grab those blocks. And then go ahead and have your chair too, because we will use that when we stand also. And then sitting comfortably on your mat, either with the legs folded or extended out in front of you. We'll just take a few moments to prepare for our practice by closing the eyes and turning the attention inward. Taking a moment to notice how your body feels. Especially noting any areas of tension or tightness. And then taking 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale. And to exhale it all out. And then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. And then turn the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then we'll begin a nice, even breathing. Inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just continue with this nice, even breathing. If at any time it makes you lightheaded or dizzy, just go back to your own normal breathing pattern. And then we also set an intention for each practice. to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. If you do have your legs crossed and you want to switch them, switch that top leg, go ahead and do that. And then we'll begin the warm-up by turning our heads to look out over the right shoulder and back to center, and turning to look out over the left and back to center, dropping the chin to the chest, and then picking the chin up towards the ceiling and jutting that lower jaw out. And back to center. Dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center. And left ear to left shoulder. And back to center. Extending the hands out in front, open and close the fingers. And then some wrist circles. And reverse. Good. And then bringing the hands back to the lap, we'll do some shrugs. And then the next time you pick the shoulders up, roll them to the back. And bringing the shoulders back to neutral, extending the elbows out to the side, fingertips together. We're then going to just lift and lower the elbows. Try to keep your torso from moving so that you focus just on the scapula. Good. And then bringing the arms down, we're going to do one more warm up. So when we come to standing, we've kind of warmed up the muscles in the front of the shoulder. So extending the right arm out, turn your palm so it's facing behind you. Bend your elbow and bring the back of your hand to the small of the back. And then just slide that hand up and down your back like you're just rubbing your back. So we're just doing a nice gentle stretch here, opening up that shoulder. Good. And then release, try it on the other side. So again, extend, palm facing to the back, and then bring the back of your hand to the back of the small of your back. And then you can lift and lower that hand up and down like you're rubbing, even go side to side. Just again, doing a nice gentle stretch here in the front of the shoulder into the chest. Good. All right, go ahead and release. And then bring the right hand to the outside of the right hip. Inhale, sweep that left arm up, and exhale, nice side bend to the right. And then release back to center, switch arms, inhale, and to exhale to the left. Good, and coming back to center, and then the left hand on the right knee as we come into a twist. So inhale to lengthen. Exhale as you bring that right hand around behind you, turn and look to the right. Good. And then releasing back to center, switch hands. Inhale and exhale, turn to the left. Good. And then release back to center. If you did have your legs crossed, go ahead and extend them out in front of you and shake them out a little bit. The blood flowing. Good. And then we'll put our hands behind that right thigh as you pull the knee in and extend it out. Good. And the next time you pull it in, hold it there. Point and flex the foot. And then some ankle circles. And reverse. Good. And then switch legs. So same thing, just bend and extend. Good. And then the next time you pull it in, hold it there, point and flex the foot. And ankle circles. And reverse. Good. And then we'll go ahead and come onto our hands and knees. You're welcome to open up your blanket if you'd like for some little extra padding. Oh, and then also grab your blocks and put them on either side at the top of the mat, because after downward facing dog, then we're going to come into a lunge. So you may want the blanket and your blocks. All right, but first we'll start in cat-cow. So placing the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. With the inhale, lift the chest and the sits bones, arching the spine. And then with your exhale, pressing into those hands, rounding the spine, dropping the chin into the chest. Inhale, back to cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And again, inhale and exhale. Good. Bringing the spine back to neutral and then coming into child's pose, supporting the head and just taking a few breaths here. And then extending those arms back out, coming back to hands and knees. You're welcome to come into puppy pose, which is extending the fingertips and then dropping the chest and chin down here, or downward facing dog, so curling the toes, pressing into the hands, and then lengthening through the arms and the shoulders, keeping a little bend in the knees as you warm up those hamstrings. And continue to breathe. Good. And then with the exhale, go ahead and bring the knees back down to the mat or come back to hands and knees if you were in puppy. And here's where you may want to grab your blocks, whichever height works best for you. So either the taller height or maybe putting them down, or not even using a block if you don't want to. So we're going to come into a low lunge. Shift the weight to the left. You want to pick up that right knee. You can grab onto your right ankle if you need to, and bring that right foot forward. Now, because we're going to be dropping the hips down, you want to walk that foot forward a little bit, just so that that knee stays right over the foot. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then using your blocks to put your hands on, you want to be able to lift the chest. That's why the blocks are nice here. And then at the same time, you're going to drop your hips down. So you see that my left knee is behind my hips, and I'm getting a nice stretch in the front of that left thigh. Good. And then we'll come back to that nice, even breathing. Good. So this is a great stretch here, especially if you've been sitting all day. Stretches out that psoas. Good. All right. Let's go ahead and step that right foot back. Try it on the other side. And just use those blocks to help support you as you come into the pose. Again, walking your toes forward a little bit. So as you drop the hips down, you're going to shift everything forward, and you don't want your knee past your toes. Good. And then using the blocks to lift the torso. Now feeling this nice stretch in the front of the right thigh. Good. And continue to breathe. Good. And then from here, just use the blocks to kind of walk your hands back, maybe slide that left foot back a little bit, and then we'll come up to standing. So curl your back toes. You can use your blocks if you want to then to come up to standing. And then go ahead and just put your blocks to the side. If you did have your blanket open, we'll put that to the side too. And then you'll want to grab your strap and that loop that we made. So we're going to start by standing in Tadasana, but we're going to work on opening up the chest, pulling the shoulders down, really working on the postural muscles, which are the back of the shoulders. So we're going to use the strap to help build a little strength back there. So again, because we tend to be on our computers all day or a lot of the day, even just reading or anything, we slump forward, we stretch those muscles in the back of the body, then the upper back, and then they become weak and overstretched rather than strong and flexible. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring ourselves into Tadasana. So have those feet about hip width apart, finding the four corners of the feet, just like we normally do. Lifting and tightening the abdominals, lengthening up through the spine. Bringing the arms right now alongside the body, just so that you can pick the shoulders up, roll them down the back, and gaze forward. Now, I'm going to turn so that you can see what we're going to do. So from here, you're going to bring the arms around behind you, which you can see already is opening up your chest. Now, you don't want to throw your lower ribs forward. So you're going to keep those abdominals tight. You're going to put your forearms in that loop. So I'm going to even mine up a little bit. Now, be careful. You don't want to hyperextend your elbow. So put just a little bend in the elbow. Your palms are facing each other. Make sure those shoulders haven't creeped up. So you've pulled them down. You really opened up. And then you're going to press your forearms against that strap. So you should feel this kind of a little isometric contraction there between the shoulder blades. Again, working on strengthening those muscles. but standing in Tadasana like you normally do. So we'll take a few breaths here. Good. So when you practice on your own, maybe try this a couple of times, especially if you've been leaning over a lot. This will help to open up the shoulders, really improve that posture. Good. All right, go ahead and rest it out. Just shake out those arms. Go ahead and put your strap to the side. You can even undo your loop if you'd like, because we will use it later when we come down to the mat. And then make sure that you have your folded blanket nearby. And now we're going to come into chair pose, and then we're going to add the twist. So just lay your blanket down in front of you for a moment. We'll come back to finding those four corners of the feet. Good, lifting up, tightening the abdominals. With your inhale, go ahead and lift the arms just about shoulder height out in front. And then with your exhale, bend the knees, push the weight back in the hips. Your weight will also go into your heels. Good. Keeping the chest lifted, gazing forward. Continue to breathe. Glance down. Make sure that your knees are behind your toes and in line with about the second and third toe. Good, and this is going to be important. Inhale, come on up. As we come into the twist, so we want to watch that knee and toe alignment. As we come into the twist, you'll want to push that leg forward that you're twisting on. So that's where the knee alignment's going to be important. All right, go ahead and pick up your blanket. And you're going to place your folded blanket on your thighs. We're going to use this for our twist. All right, we've got those feet rooted down, finding those four corners again. Good. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, come back into chair. This time we're going to take the left forearm and you're going to fold it across the blanket, across your thighs. And then as you exhale, turn to the right, bring that right hand around and place it on your hip. Now, glance down. Oops, my left knee has gone forward. So I want to pull that left knee back. It's hard. It's hard to keep those knees in line while you're turning. So now you probably can't turn as far because you haven't pushed that left knee forward, but at least you're in better alignment. Good. All right, release, come back to center, come on back up. Just kind of wiggle those legs a little bit. Wiggle your arms. All right, so now we're going to try it on the other side. So you know when you bend, again, knees should be in line with one another and then aligned behind your toes. All right, blanket goes back across the thighs. This time the right forearm will go across the blanket. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, push the weight back in the hips. Place that left forearm on the blanket. Begin to turn to the left. Check that right knee. We'll probably have to pull it back. And then just bring your left hand to that left hip. Good, and continue to breathe. Good. And then release back to center. Go ahead and come on back up. Good. Release your blanket, shake it out. Go ahead and put your blanket to the side. Good. And then we'll come into a wider stance. So now we're going to bring those feet wider than your hips. And pulling your heels in, turning your toes out. So here's where we're going to practice some more knee alignment. We're going to come into leaning goddess. As we do that and bend the knees, you'll want to keep your knees in line with your toes. Okay, so let's try that again. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, bending here from those leg creases. As you come down, you're going to put a little bit of the weight back in the hips. So my torso is actually at this angle, but I still have my chest lifted. Now, look down at your knees. Don't let them collapse forward. And then line up your feet so that the knees and the toes are in alignment. Good. And then continue to breathe. Good, and then with your next inhale, go ahead and just pull that torso all the way up. And then from here, we're going to come into triangle. So we're going to turn the left foot forward and maybe in just a little bit. And then the right foot will go out to 90 degrees. Make sure your right heel is in line with that left instep. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bend the right knee. Here we go, back into alignment. So the right knee should be in line with your toes. Good. As you can see, my left hip is pointing to the right a little bit. That's okay. Turning from the waist forward, coming into warrior two. Good. Lifting the arms. Pull those shoulders down, working those muscles again. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then with the inhale, you're going to straighten that right knee. With your exhale, lean to the right as far as you can. Shift the weight into that left hip. And then you're just going to bring that right hand down, wherever that might be. Your right thigh, shin, ankle. If you can, extend the left arm up. If not, placing it on your hip, pulling that left shoulder open. Good. Tighten the front of the right thigh. Good. And continue to breathe. Good, and then with the inhale, lift the torso. Exhale, bring those arms down. Go ahead and turn the right foot in, and we'll try it on the other side. Good. So again, lining up the left heel now with the instep of the right foot. As you exhale, bend the left knee. Now, keep that left knee in line with your toes and stacked right over the ankle. Good. From the waist up, turn to the front, but don't let that knee fall forward. Good. So pay attention to the knee, because otherwise, if the knee comes forward, then it throws off the alignment in the hip. You've probably heard about the chain. So we want to keep everything in proper alignment to avoid injury. Good. Pull the shoulders down. Exhale, turn and look to the left. Good. Take one more full breath. And with your next inhale, straighten the left knee. Exhale, shift the weight to the right, lean to the left as far as you can. And then bring that left hand down. Again, if you can, extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. The palm will face forward. You can turn and look at your hand or just look forward. And then tighten the front or the top of the left thigh. You'll probably feel your kneecap being pulled up, and that's what you want. That will help protect that knee joint. Good, and breathe. Good, and then with the inhale, go ahead and lift the torso. Exhale, bring the arms down. Turn that left foot in and just do a little heel toe or walk the feet together. And then we're going to come down on the mat. You may want to have your blanket nearby. We are going to come down on our belly, so if you want some extra padding for the pelvis, feel free to open that up. But we're going to start on our hands and knees by doing a bird dog. So we're going to do a little core work. All right. Actually, I'm going to turn my this way. All right. So coming back onto hands and knees. Bird dog is that opposite arm and leg. So we're going to balance here. You can always break it down. You could just do arms. You can just do legs till you build up a little bit of that core, that core strength to then lift the opposite arm and leg. The other thing is tightening the abdominals. All right, so start by extending your right arm and the right leg, now, or I'm sorry, left leg. Now, right before you lift them, tighten your abdominals and then see if you can lift. Good. You're just going to pause for about a count of 2 and then switch sides. So you're not going real fast, but not real slow. So they have a chance to control those muscles. Good. And just working at your own pace here. Again, if you find you're too wobbly, then go back to just the arms or just the legs until you build a little more strength. Good. Let's try it once more each side. Good. Then from here, we're going to lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. So you may want to walk those knees back and then just lower yourself down. Again, adjust yourself if you've got your blanket there. So we're going to start by coming into Cobra. So as you lower the chest a little bit, slide your hands so that they're underneath the shoulders. Now, we're going to keep a bend in the elbows, but we want to focus on the legs right now. So just pick up the right leg about an inch or so, reach through your big toe, and then rotate. Think of the thigh rotating inward towards the midline of the body. And then lay that right leg down. Try it on the other side. Reach through the big toe and then rotate. So as you lay that leg back down, you've noticed your heels have now fallen out to the side. I just got a cramp in my instep. Oh, that hurts. All right, I'm going to try to wiggle it out a little bit. And a widening up here in the pelvis. That's what you want. Then you're going to press the pubic bone down into the mat. So you'll feel that tightens those abdominals. All right, so here we go with Cobra. The top of the feet are going to stay on the mat. With your next inhale, begin to lift the back of the neck, the shoulders, and the chest. Good. Keeping that bend in the elbows. using the hands to support you as you look forward. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then with your exhale, as you lower the chest down, walk your hands forward so that they're extended out in front of you. Good. So we're going to do a little arm and shoulder work here. It's the opposite of bird dog. So we're going to be doing the same arm and leg lift here, whereas the bird dog would be actually on the mat. They kind of call this Superman. But we're just going to do one side and then the other. So we'll start on the right side. Just have your head in line with the spine, so you're just looking down at your mat. And then go ahead and lift the right arm and the right leg. Again, we're just going to pause here for a couple of seconds. Good. Bring them back down. Relax it out. Continue to breathe. Then try it on the left. Good. Same arm and leg. Couple of seconds. Release. So I'm going to let you work at your own pace here. Good. Same arm and leg. Lift. Hold. Don't remember to press the pubic bone down when you lift that arm and leg. Good. And release. So again, you're tightening those abdominals just like you did when you did the bird dog. Good. Let's try it once more on each side. Good. And then just relax it out. You can bring your arms alongside the body. Turn your head either direction, just resting your cheek on the mat. And completely release. And then sliding those hands back underneath your shoulders, curl your toes. Push yourself back up to hands and knees. And then swing the lower legs to the side as you walk your hips down to the mat, and then extend your legs out in front of you. Go ahead and fold up your blanket. And then we'll actually sit on the blanket. I guess I'll leave that one there. Grab your strap again. This time we've removed our loop. And we're going to keep the right knee bent. Just draw that foot in towards the groin. And then we'll extend the left leg out on the diagonal. So you've got your right foot here in the center, left leg out to the side. If you do still have your block nearby and you want to put that under your right knee, if the right knee doesn't quite come down all the way to the mat, feel free to support it with a block. All right. So we're going to do this little side bend here. You're welcome, if you're a little more flexible, you can hold on to your foot. If not, that's why we have our strap. So you're going to put the strap around that left ball of the foot and hold it with the left hand. Then take a nice big inhale, and with the exhale, you're going to lean to the left. So however far you can hold on to the strap. Again, you may be able to bend enough that you can wrap your hand around the pinky toe side of the foot. Now, options are to put that right hand on your hip and then turn and look to the right, opening up that right shoulder. Or you can bring the right arm up towards your ear. The only issue here is then people kind of tend to roll forward. So I kind of like to do this, or I'll take the back of my hand, remember what we did in the warm-up, and put the back of the hand to the small of the back. That really helps to open up the shoulder. Good, and then continue to breathe. Good, and then with the inhale, lift the torso, remove your strap. We'll try it on the other side. So that right leg will come out on the diagonal. And then bend the left knee, bring the foot in towards the groin. Again, depending on how flexible you are with the bending, just put the strap around the ball of that right foot. And one side, like I'm a lot more flexible on that side than I am this side. So you may be able to hold, but remember to watch the rounding of the low back. You want to keep that low back straight. All right, here we go. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bend to the right. Now tighten the top of the right thigh. So when I do that, the back of the thigh lengthens a little bit, giving you a little more room to stretch. And then bringing the left hand either on the hip or placing the back of the hand again in the small of the back and turning and looking to the left. Good. And then continue to breathe. Good. And then with your inhale, go ahead and lift the torso and release, just putting the strap to the side. And then from here, we're going to come down on the mat. We'll do a little hip stretch and then go into Savasana. So keeping whatever you normally use for Savasana close by. And then rolling onto your side and then on your back. So bending the knees, having your feet flat on the floor. We'll take the right leg, cross your right thigh over your left thigh. And then pick your left foot up off the mat, pull those knees in towards you, and then whatever you can hold on to help pull them in. If your strap is nearby, you can always bring that behind that left thigh, or just holding on to your shins and hugging those knees in. If you're a little more flexible, you could walk your hands down those shins, maybe hold on to your ankles, and very gentle pressure here. So again, you're monitoring what is your edge. And your edge would be that deep stretch, but going no farther. Going any farther would, cause pain, strain, anything like that. Good. And then continuing to breathe. Good. And then bringing the feet down, switch sides, so left thigh crosses the right, and then picking the right foot up, and again, holding on to the knees, hugging them in, or walking the hands down, and pulling in the shins. Wherever you feel a nice deep stretch. Good, and then with your exhale, bring that right foot down, go ahead and uncross the left leg. And then lengthening those legs out, extending the arms overhead, and just give yourself a nice, good stretch here. Feels really good. Good. And then bringing the arms alongside the body, rotating the palms so that they're facing up. You'll see how that, again, opens up the chest, pulling the shoulders down the back. Have your feet about 6 inches apart. Just let those feet fall out to the side. And whatever you need to do to make yourself more comfortable. And we'll take a few moments here to rest in Savasana. So go ahead and close the eyes. And bring the attention back to the breath. Again, notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. Feel the breath as it enters the nostrils and flows into the lungs. Focus on the rib cage as it expands with each inhale and contracts with each exhale. And then focus on the physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release any tension or tightness. Then focus on the mind. Release any thoughts, worries, or anxieties. Imagine yourself in a place that brings you peace. And give yourself just a few moments to completely let go. begin to deepen your breath. And then start moving your fingers and toes. And then the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position. And taking a few breaths here. And then using your left hand to support you, pushing yourself back up into a seated position. And keeping the eyes closed and the body relaxed just for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then we'll take one more deep cleansing breath. So take a nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.